Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the January 17th, 2024 CalPADS Q A. My name is Paul Higgins, data analyst working at CSIS supporting CalPADS. Announcements. The close of the 23-24 Fall 1 submission will arrive on Friday, 1/26 at 2024. So that will be when CalPADS comes down. For the evening, you will be expected to be in SELPA approved status. Let's see. Revisions have been kind of inconsistent today. We've gotten reports of delayed revisions from days before, and we are investigating it. I don't have anything solid yet, but we are still looking into that, and we do acknowledge that revisions do appear to be delayed. Let's see. Angela, do you have anything for bugs, patches, upcoming builds, anything else?
Yeah, the known issues is up to date as of our release yesterday. Not a lot went in because it was a short sprint for us, just 4 days. We are planning on patching. Hopefully, we'll get, if some of you have noticed, the SENR ODS extract is no longer working. It's missing a column, which is wreaking all kinds of havoc on you. We're hoping to get that patched this week so we don't have to wait till next Tuesday.
Thank you, Angela. All right, I'm gonna just head on over. I'm sorry, Martha, Alex, Gary, Sean, anything from the group before we get started?
Yes, I have one, Paul.
Okay,
Thank you.
please.
Okay. So the private preview of the preliminary 23-24 CalPADS unduplicated pupil count went out yesterday to all CalPADS LEA admins. So you should have that in your inbox. And then just a reminder that that also closes on January 26, 2024.
All right,
Thank you,
thank
Paul.
you, Sean. All right, first question is Laura at 302 Q1. My LEA is getting a fatal CRSE 640F2. Unfortunately, this student was enrolled in the incorrect course on census day and is not special ed. We're willing to take the misassignment / exception because that is where the student was, attendance, etc., but it's a fatal error. Is there any workaround on this? Or should I take the 700 from the course even though it's a sped course?
Since the student themselves were in the incorrect course, that's just going to be a misassignment, sadly, for the school site. The actual course is, from what you're saying, Laura, it sounds like the actual course is coded correctly and all other students were sped. I would just ensure that the one student that was in there, that was in the incorrect class, that they didn't have like any pending meetings or plan types there that needed to get pushed through. And you said they are not sped at all, so no worries. So yeah, the course itself is coded correctly, and it seems like the teacher has the appropriate credentials. Um, yes, Kyron, like Kyron is saying, if possible, yes, take that student out of the course and move them over, but that would be working with your SIS system to do that correctly because you want to ensure that that student's attendance stays intact.
All right, thank you, Sean. Moving on to Soraya at 302 Q1. What date should a student's services match in order to have them appear on the 16.16 report? Is it the plan or meet record effective dates? Let's pull up that report spec.
Alex has an answer for that one.
Yeah.
I get them confused too.
It has to be the plan. Where does it say
Yeah, plan effective date.
that? The plan effective date has to match.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Alex. And Soraya, I do see your Q2. We'll circle back to that. Nelissa 303 Q1, our SELPA sent out an email recommending that the LEAs decertify then certify fall 1 with a revision from January 2024. Is that correct? I certified in December, and my certified reports match the unrevised reports. Was there an issue with certified data from December? There were errors and validations that were changed to warnings, that were, suppressed, whatever it was, that were SPED-based, that were brought back up. And there has been a concern that LEAs have not remedied those errors, gone back in, decertified, recertified, and called it good. And I think that your CELPA is just trying to make sure that all of their constituents have clean data for fall 1. So they're saying, just make sure that it's a January revision. I can't say that. I don't have that authority. If they have that authority over you, do it. If not, question it. But I don't know what reason they have for that, except that there were some errors that were expected to be resolved, and not all LEAs have done that yet.
Paul, I think yesterday in yesterday's SPED Q&A, this question was asked, and Martha was saying it was recommended, but really, if there was no change and the reports are identical, it wouldn't actually be required that you de-approve and reapprove the January one, although that's what they were leaning towards. But if there's no change, it's kind of up to you.
Okay, good. All right. Oh, sorry. Go, Alex. Go.
I was just going to add one more thing. This was sent out, and it's up on the screen to the SPED listserv, and it's from the special ed office saying that, because of Plan 619 being disabled, what we're asking is that you check your revised and certified to make sure if you have any Plan 619 F1 errors, you're resolving those, decertifying, and then approving a new revision. And so my assumption is that that's all tied together with what your CELPA is asking you to do.
Okay, thank you, Alex. So based on that, I would say shoot back to your CELPA saying, hey, everything's good on my end. Are you sure you really need me to do this? And then go from there, because it sounds like you have clean data and you've verified that on multiple levels. So just verify that with your CELPA. Let's see, Ethan, 306 Q1. If there are SPED cert fatal errors in our revised uncertified snapshot, are we required, all caps, to decertify our December CELPA approved snapshots to address those errors and certify new ones? What are the consequences if we do not? Perhaps related, is it okay to have a CELPA certified snapshot from December, or is there a requirement that only snapshots from January or later can be CELPA certified? Well, we just kind of touched on that in the previous question, but it also depends on which SPED-based errors you're talking about. If it's at 619, yeah, you got to go take care of those. If it's something new that's popped up since you've been certified, since December, because you've been loading data and it changed something, yes, you should fix it. Are you required to fix it and decertify, recertify? Probably not. But you probably should check in with your CELPA and see what they are going to be, kind of torqued off at you with if you don't get it fixed, versus what they're willing to take a pass on. All right, Clarissa, 303. Yeah, 303. Wow, what's going on here? Ethan was at 306. Clarissa's at 303, and she's below him. This is weird. Anyway, Clarissa at 303. Q1, can you confirm that the June 30th grad cycle is postponed until the 24-25 school year, and that we are keeping the August 15th deadline, counting graduates for the 23-24 academic year?
Yes,
That's my
yes.
understanding.
Yes, that's correct. And that went out to the letter to superintendent. Jerry did that as one of his last items. In November 17th. Yep. And so it is,
There it
it's
is.
posted, it's on the CalPADS webpage for letters to superintendents. Additional guidance is coming out though, and which ways to capture summer grads. So just know that that will be posted for end of year.
Perfect. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Bavita at 307 Q1. Could you please share the communication that went out today regarding UPC? I have not received it.
That only went out to CalPADS LEA admins. So please connect with your CalPADS LEA admin to get that information.
Okey-doke. Mika 308 Q1. When I am uploading my SCSE file, I am receiving a GER2 value not found in reference set. UC CSU admission requirement code value GG value not found in reference set. Validation error. There are 116 errors, but only associated with 3 courses. How would I resolve this? It's hard to speak in broad generalities. I would really like to see the data in the file. It could be that the GG has a space in it. It has, an underscore, something in there that makes it invalid. I don't know. So, speaking broadly, the GER2 happens when the value is expecting a specific coded set and something other than that coded set comes in. So for a better look at that, go ahead and send in a service desk ticket and please include the CalPADS job ID so we can look it up right away rather than asking you for it later. All right, moving on to Anna at 311. There are other SPED errors than the Plan 619 that showed up after January 1st. Okay. I'm assuming that that's in relation to having to decertify, recertify, and all that. So yeah, the if new errors came in, you should definitely look at them. They're obviously a problem. If you're uploading data and it's materially changing things that happen on census day, those are still things that are going to be reported out. And if the ODS is ever pulled, it's going to come back incorrect. And then you're going to go, oh, hey, I certified this, but you pulled that. And then there's going to be this discrepancy. So yes, please do go back, verify what those errors are, make corrections to them, wait till you have a clean, revised, uncertified, and then compare the reports. And if there's anything materially different, decertify the old one, recertify the new one. But right now it's kind of up in the air. I can't give you a categorical answer. Yes, you 100% must correct X, Y, and Z, but that I don't know that. It has to be on a broader brush than that. So please review your errors, see what they are, take corrective action, verify the revised uncertified. All right. Where am I? Andrew 309 Q1. If a student was reclassified during the summer, what should I put for the RFEP date? And looks like Rob had included a link to the last or to Flash 258 and a reference to Flash 219, which is also referenced in Flash 258. So it's let's see what we're talking about. Oh, here we go. Guidance for submitting RFEP records. There we go. And I'm sure that there's some summer ones in there. So thank you very much for that, Robin. That is exactly what we needed. So Andrew, go to those links and review those flashes, and you should be able to piece together or use the grid in there to identify exactly where it needs to be. S1 Mendoza. Oh, damn. 316 Q1. What are the best practices for reporting the following scenarios in CalPADS? Our LEA has a few students where a student who is TK age is not currently attending any LEA or private school. The parents have expressed their request for the student to undergo assessment for special education services. How should the student be reported in terms of enrollment? That actually has its own flash as well. And depending on the time of year, most of these come up in the spring, late spring, heading towards summer. And they want to get all the LEAs want to get the evaluations done so they know which students are coming in as students with disabilities next year. Completely understandable. And there's two approaches that I think were kind of green lighted. One is to create if it were happening this year, you would create a 23-24 enrollment. At the district office, you would maintain it until the assessment had happened, and that SPED data or the SWDS plan meet data were all uploaded. Then you would close it out as an N470, but all of the SPED data is uploaded, so now you know whether they've qualified or not. But the enrollment doesn't count for 23-24. It's an N470, so it just kind of disappears into itself, but the data is still there. So the next year, when you enroll that student, all of their SPED data is present. They're already a student with disabilities day one, no pending evaluations necessary. Second method was to, let me see if I remember it. It's basically the same thing, create it at the district level, and then immediately, if they're starting that year, then you swap them over to whichever school they would be hosted at. So there would be an N470 at the district with an immediate start after that at their site, their school of attendance that they would be receiving services at. Yeah, I think those are the two main ones. Anyone else have a thought on that?
Up on the screen, I have this is from Brandy's training on creating and maintaining SSIDs for students with disabilities. So there's this grid that tells you how to enroll in the enrollment start date, the school of attendance, and as Paul was mentioning, there's that district level enrollment if there's no actual school that the student is enrolled at. But just keep in mind that it's a preschool level. Now I know you say it's a TK age, but I would just be mindful that if you do give us a grade of TK, then we're expecting more stuff for that student, right? Because it would be a primary enrollment. And so then CalPADS is going to require that you give us a Stella record, and then we're expecting STAS, or no, maybe not. Yeah, STAS. So there's other implications were you to use that TK grade.
Perfect. Thank you, Alex. Nicole, 316 Q1 Fall 2 report 3.6 course section enrollment is not showing all of our TK classes. The report is only showing course code 1000 for TK, but not the music 9290, library 9214, PE 9310. Are these courses not required for TK? The 1000, the self-contained course, is generally, TK through 6th grade, and then 7th and 8th should be using a departmentalized courses, and 9th through 12th must use departmentalized courses. If you can break down your primary grade levels into their other departmentalized courses, that would be great. But as Alex is highlighting there, if they have no enrollments in the course sections, then they're not going to appear on there. So if you have a 27, an itinerant pull-in, push-out teacher, pulling them out for the music or library or PE, and you don't have anybody enrolled in them, it's not going to appear on that report. And that's a perfectly valid way to report that 27 with the course section with no SE data associated with it. It's because they're using it as a pull-in or a pull-out course. So that is valid if you don't have students enrolled there, but they won't appear on this report.
Paul,
Yes,
can I
ma'am.
make a quick comment? The private preview, that did not go out today. It went out yesterday. So for those of you that are looking for an email from Private Preview today, again, that's yesterday's email that it went out. Thank you. It has those 2 attachments. There is a password in there. So again, it only went to the CalPADS LEA admin. If you are not registered as a CalPADS LEA admin, then you would not have received this. And again, to be registered as a CalPADS LEA admin, that means there's an application in which your superintendent signs off on, or if you're a charter school, like your executive director or your principal signs off on in order for you to get that email. Okay, I see 2 people in the chat that have verified, yes, they're CalPADS LEA admin. We're checking our log to ensure that you received it. And if not, what the bounce back was for us. If you did change an email address or something like that for your LEA, or your technology department has blocked CalPADS emails, it'll let us know that too.
All right. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Larney 317 Q1. We have the fatal error CRSE 640F2. Our student is SPED but came from out of state. The IEP meeting will not be held until May of 2024. How are we going to resolve this error to certify Fall 2? What about those who we acquire on 9/28 and the meeting occurred 10/15 after Census Day? Is this going to be a cert error too? Curious too why we chose to validate meet record for the CRSE 640F2 instead of SWDS or plan, which are the 2 required records to submit in CalPADS when we acquire new SPED students from another LEA. Just wondering. Yeah, Kyron responded back, and he kind of boiled it down to where I was looking at was, if the student came from out of state and is new to your LEA, then you're not going to hold a meeting until May. Then no SPED data exists in CalPADS for the student, so they are not SPED yet. So if they're in the CRSE 640F2,
I think the student would be special education because it's like across the US. So it's just automatic. I'm trying to remember how to get to the scenarios from the SPED office where they talk about students that are moving in from out of state.
So they need to adopt the record, basically. They need to have the interim IEP to adopt the out-of-state record. While Alex is trying to find the full details, that's basically
It's in the
what
Fall
you
1
need to-
roadmap, Alex.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Kai.
If you scroll up, it's a subsection.
Oh, it's
Are these the ones? That's a scenario
no,
table, right?
it's a oh yeah. Yeah. These are the start dates. There was one where it talked about specifically, I have it in an Excel, but it's outdated now.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I'll post it up,
Joe.
Alex.
Yeah.
And Sean is correct. For any external out-of-state IEPs, you gotta adopt it.
They're saying that would give them a plan record, but not the required meet record.
Would you adopt the meat from the state where they came from? Joe?
Not necessarily as well, but you should actually have a interim meeting in a way, right? After adopting it. So you could actually send up a interim placement meeting for that student.
Yeah, because those services may not translate, especially if it's out of state, those services may not translate over to our services exactly. So once you have that interim IEP, within those 30 days, then that'll allow you to send up the full SPED files for the student.
That's correct.
All right. And it looks like that's not where I need to be. Derp.
And Dominic actually has a great idea here. Thank you, Dominic. You can, if you can't adopt the meat, then you can enter it actually on the OM. So that's another issue where you could actually work around the problem. Thank you, Dominic. And I did post the. Oh, sorry, I posted the wrong one, but I'll repost it. Okay, the file scenarios document.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. All right, Melissa and Clarissa, I see your Q2s, and we'll circle back to those. All right, Anna at 3:20. We have a student who is leaving our school to work on getting their GED. Do we need a specific form to support the exit code of T260, or is our confirmation of enrollment form enough to support this? I know CHISP, we need the certificate of proof, but not sure of GED. Student is only in 9th grade. 260, isn't that they already have their GED?
They transferred to an adult program. And
Okay, there we go.
Alex, I have the data guide open. I don't know if you have that, but that appendix says the student must be 18 years old or older to be reported using that code. And they must be verified in order to use that code. Doesn't say how it's verified, but
well, didn't it used to be they transferred in to an adult ed school, and then you had to follow up the next year on census day and verify that they were still enrolled there? Otherwise, you had to change the
right.
T260 to T270 or T280, whatever the exit was.
That's right, Paul. Yeah, good memory.
So in this case, if they're not 18 because they're only in grade 9, and doesn't GED have an age requirement? You have to be like 17 or 16 and a half or above or something like that. But yeah, if it's actually providing age requirements here to use these, you may be required to use a dropout coding until they do get their GED, at which point you can say they have their GED.
You're correct, Paul. I agree. Or they can, I mean, either way, they're going to fall into a dropout category, even if they put that they were a completer, but did not complete 12th grade or something like that. It's still going to fall into it's still going to hit their exit reason discrepancies.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Anna at 3:21 is asking for a link to Brandy's PowerPoint referenced earlier, and Marshall posted it in the response to Anna, and that's at 3:21. Stephanie at 3:30. Q1, is there a reason why the fall 2 errors are not showing up on the DD screen?
Yeah, we only transferred the new certification data discrepancy type errors to the data discrepancy screen. So those are the type of errors that are prefaced with the file name. So like plan or CRSE. So if it's prefaced with cert, those are the legacy certification errors, and those will remain only in the certification status screen.
Also, sorry.
Oh,
also,
just at least for now is what I was going to say.
Yeah. Also, if you're comparing your cert errors, to this data discrepancy if the revised version in the data discrepancy has a later date timestamp than the cert errors, or than the one listed on the certification page, then that's just a timing issue.
All right. All right. Thank you, Kai. Moving down. Teresa 331, we have Pathways Adult Ed that is picking up and reporting students under 18 in our area. They are showing as enrolled in CALPADS as Pathways Adult. I've been exiting them using the T260 with no errors. Do I need to change that? Well, if they're under 18, you shouldn't actually be able to assign the T260 because the age validation should be in play there if it's requiring them to be over 18 when you assign that. As for the rest, CalPADS doesn't collect or report adult ed enrollments. So that's interesting as well. Possibly the Pathways Adult Ed is just called Adult Ed, but it's more of a credit recovery school type of a thing. I don't know.
That is what it is. It's my LEA, Paul.
Oh, perfect. See, I know these things. I'm just good that way.
Those students are most likely still trying to get their high school diploma enrolled in grade 12.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you, Nate. All right, going down, Audrey at 332 Q1, following up on Larney's Q1 for the CRSE 640F2. You run this validation on the meet record. However, looking at the SPED file submission scenarios with transfers from public schools, the scenarios say you only submit a meet record unless a plan review occurred. There's no sub option for students who transfer from out of state. Can this validation be revised to look at students with an SWD status of eligible and participating in a plan record like the most of the other validations?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. We could actually bring this back to our table, Audrey and Larnie. I actually already messaged Brandy about this, so we'll hear from this soon. We'll bring it back to our table, why it's validating the meet instead of the SWDS. So we'll bring it back to our table. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Joe. All right, and it looks like there's a lot of conversations on existing questions, so I'm going to go back up and hit the Q2s.
There was one Q1, Paul, that I didn't see. I know the chat jumps around, but did we get to Andrews? Because if so, Robin answered it correctly for Flash 219, the guidance for it. Andrew at 309, if a student was reclassified during the summer.
Yes, we did look at that one. So
Oh,
yes,
okay, thank
already
you.
did that
Sorry.
one. That's all right. I was thinking, oh God, what did I miss? But yes, we got that one. Good. All right, Nilissa 319 Q2, follow up to my question 1. Is there a way to check with the SPED office and or CDE to see what they want LEAs to do in regards to Fall 1 certified data? It sounds like SELPA sent me an email based on CDE guidance from yesterday's Zoom session. Hey, Joe, you want to field that one?
Yeah, so the underlying context of that email that we sent out is to make sure that you clear out all errors and specifically focus on Plan 619, which, as you know, was actually deactivated or turned into a warning during the P1 revision. But now it's back, right? So what we've been telling everybody, and Paul said it correctly earlier, is go check your revised uncertified, see if there's any outstanding errors. If there are any outstanding errors, including the Plan 619 especially, right? Please correct them. And that's the one that you'll probably be using, right? Now, if there's nothing wrong with, if you check your revised uncertified and there's no errors, no outstanding errors, that is, then you may actually, you're not required to decertify and recertify back. That's the point.
Great. Thank you, Joe. All right, that was Nilissa. So I'm going to Clarissa at 319 Q2 is the last date to update CELA/ELAS code 129 before data is sent to TOMS for LPAC testing, i.e. if a student was reclassified, that needs to be reflected in CALPADS by January 29th? Question. So that the student won't be flagged in TOMS for LPAC testing this spring of 2024. I'm a little
That's a
thin
good
on that,
question.
so yeah.
That's a good question. Thoron? Lisa, yeah. And if not Sarah? Why am I looking a little lonely for my own department? Sarah's here. Sarah, by chance, do you know that one? What the date is or a cutoff date to count for RFEPs? Send in a ticket, put my name on it. Sarah, I will get back to you.
Perfect. Go ahead and open up that service desk ticket, send it in, and we will get it up to Sean as quickly as we can.
Thank you.
And Soraya, did I miss yours? I apologize. Let me get back up there. I did. I apologize, Soraya. That's what you get for being so efficient and tucking them all in there and making it look like one. Anyway, Soraya at 302 Q2, we found a mid that was not rendering as a result in the mid anomalies management functionality. We submitted a ticket and were told sometimes that happens. Is that the official communication regarding the mid functionality not displaying actual mids, or should the student have been flagged by the CALPADS logic?
You want me to take a stab at that one, Paul?
Yeah, please.
I can think of two scenarios that would cause that. One, probably a little less rare, but it could be that somebody already flagged that pair of SSIDs as different. And that tells the system, don't show these kids as a potential match anymore. Somebody's verified that they are indeed different students. And the other scenario that's probably a little bit more common is the names or something about their demographics was off just enough where the mid couldn't detect it. If the middle names were way different, or the first name had two first names, whatever reason, CalPads couldn't say, I think that's the same student. So in those cases, when you do come across that, there is a function in CalPads where you can combine mids not on the report, and that's under the mid section in online maintenance. So that what I mean by that is CalPads allows you to combine two SSIDs that you've determined are indeed to the same student with two IDs, but CalPads couldn't identify it for some reason.
Very good. Thank you, Angela. All right. Rebecca. Thank you. That's excellent. Rebecca at 341. Good news. My fall 2 report's finally refreshed. Hopefully it's working for everyone else as well. Yay, team. All right. So hopefully, the dam broke somewhere and we're now going to see a flush of, or a flood of,
I'm curious,
of new ones.
Rebecca, what was the delta between when you last posted and when you got a revision? Was it more than 24 hours?
Oh boy.
Oh boy, yeah. She says yes.
Okay, well, hopefully anybody who has been waiting for a new revision, you will see one come through in the relatively near future. If not by the end of business, then definitely by tomorrow morning. If not, please let us know and we will continue working on that. And Eric, 341 just came in with a Q1. I am talking to my SPED office trying to work on the Plan 619 F1, and we have a lot of questions. How can we get someone on the phone to assist? There are items that we have created before the redesign, and it will be better if we have someone to guide us.
That is a wonderful question. You simply put in your ticket that you place in that you would like a phone call. Nate mentions that very saying in many trainings. And yeah, just put in that you'd like a phone call. or, some specific guidance in that ticket. And we gladly do so.
All right. And it looks like Rebecca got back to us and said her last Fall 2 refresh was January 14th. So she had a 3-day delay.
There is a video that Nate put together for that Plan 619, a really good video. And if you haven't seen that, I'd recommend looking at that as well. But yeah, we'll definitely give you a call back if you requested it.
All right. Let's see. Going on to Sanim at 3:42, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Q1. How long should I wait to contact other LEAs to correct a CCE on their end? Just curious. It doesn't hurt to, as soon as you see the CCE, drop them an email. Say, hey, I noticed that we have a CCE, and I believe on our side the kid's sitting in the seat, so I think you got the wrong SSID. No better time than the present to draw their attention to it. Shelly at 3:42, FYI, I got my Fall 2 revision in just under 24 hours. It was around 22 hours. Okay. Bavita, Fall 2 refreshed just now. Fall 1 has not refreshed. Carol, 3:43, Q1. How are third-party speech and OT service employees supposed to be reported in CALPADS? OT services. I'm pulling a blank on that. And I guess it depends on how they're delivering the support. Are they pupil services running a computer lab, or are they a pull out teacher providing some sort of speech support? I guess it would depend.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was going to say those typically are pupil services, non-classroom based job assignments.
Mm-hmm. And so in the Fall 2 guidance, that the trainings are occurring now. And a sly and native like, thanks, Sean. There are some excellent, part of the PowerPoint is really excellent in detailing that information. So if you haven't signed up for those trainings, please do so, or watch the recording on YouTube, or at least review the PowerPoint. Even as a quote unquote experienced LEA admin, there are many times that I sat in on the basic trainings just because they gave me a refresher of things that I might miss or might just kind of forget about because they became so routine. And especially during the pandemic, nothing became routine then. So I'd still sit in on those just as a reminder to myself. And then also the resources listed within the PowerPoints are really great because it has a direction to the CTC website to be able to link that specifically, just because there are a few, especially SPED related credentials, like specialty one-offs.
Hey Alex, the PowerPoints are currently available on the Fall 2 reporting roadmap. If you were trying to go there, the CC's resource page is currently being fixed. So if you go to the Fall 2 roadmap, the Fall 2 PowerPoint should be in that section.
Thanks, Karen. Let me scrambling.
All right, thank you very much. Looks like Angela, where was it? Oh, damn it. Hold on. At 3:44, Angela posted the troubleshooting video for the Plan 619 F1. So that should help get the troubleshooting and diagnostics going. Looks like there's been an ongoing discussion below Clarissa's Q2 regarding that January 29th date. And I think the one that I read just now from Evan reads, the CDE announced earlier this year at a coffee session that they will honor the effective start date, i.e. the reclassification date this year, and students will be removed from TOMS even if the ELAS is changed after the LEA's testing window opens. Previously, the effective exit date was not honored, and instead ETS used the date that the student was removed from the CALPADS feed to ETS. This means that LEAs who retroactively exited students in CALPADS after the window started to an effective date prior to the opening of the window were counted as needed to be tested and received a test registration. The new process honors the effective exit date. Test registrations for students who have not tested and have an effective exit date before the LEA window opens will have their registrations removed from TOMS. So, Evan, thank you for that. That was very informative. Thank you. All right, Rebecca, 345 Q1. Are students that are under adoption or in adoptive homes not eligible to be in the foster program? Our coordinator who oversees foster said that we are not to put these students into foster program in our local SIS. However, they are showing in our 1.18 Fall 1 report as foster, unless it's possible that they fell off after census day when they went into an adoption status, hence them showing up on our 1.18 report. Okay, foster youth is generated outside of CalPADS and given to us. It's done through a matching process directly with CDSS using CalPADS demographic data to bring back in the matches. So realistically, it's CDSS telling CalPADS who is a foster youth. That data is then translated onto your 1.17, 1.18, the reporting, student attributes, whatever it is. And all of that falls under the MOU that exists between CDE and CDSS defining who are LCFF eligible foster youth. So if
I
the
just want to
students,
highlight that's key right there. Who is LCFF identified foster youth? So that LCFF has a large portion to play in it. A student can be foster youth and not be LCFF eligible, depending on the type of foster youth that they are versus, or they, can be eligible again, depending on what type of foster youth they are. So if you believe a student should be on the list and you're not seeing them, please go ahead and put in a support ticket. If you believe a student should not be on the list, but you're still seeing them, please put in, again, a support ticket so we can help navigate through that. But again, it should be the students that are on that list, not so much, it's going to be student specific.
and it's going to be based on what LCFF, or not LCFF, CDSS's determination is. We're using their data set, their definitions, so if there's a process that goes from foster youth to adoption in process to adoption completed to post-adoption to whatever else, that's outside of our scope. CalPADS knows nothing about that. But they are going to continue using their process. So if the kid's still considered foster while being in an adoption in process, that could happen. And again, that's CDSS rules, not CalPADS rules. All right. Let's see. First tomorrow. A lot of people are announcing refreshed snapshots, so I appreciate that. All right, at 3:48, Marshall posted the Fall 2 reporting and certification sheet. Kyron at 3:51 posted the LCFF foster youth definition. That's still being discussed there. All right, I think we have just bottomed out on all the questions. And look at that, we got 8 minutes left. So, we can kill birds by listening to Sean sing, or let's see.
I wanted to add a clarification to the answer that we gave Anna about the Plan 619 error. She was the one that mentioned there were other types of new errors that showed up on her revised and certified Fall 1. And you answered it correctly, Paul, that definitely if data changed between when they certified and now, new different types of errors could have popped up. I just wanted to clarify that if you are going to want to certify, revise, and certify, all of those errors, not just the Plan 619s, have to be fixed. Any fatal certification error on your revised and certified has to be fixed before you can recertify.
Yes, very true, and I apologize if I misstated that.
She just had a follow-up question that we'd kind of skipped over, so I just want to make sure that was clear.
Oh, understood. Okay. All right. I'm very happy to hear, that the logjam seems to have broken on the revisions. That makes me happy.
Love to know what caused it, huh?
Yeah. Or maybe not. Maybe ignorance is bliss. Who knows?
Maybe. Maybe. Like to be informed, but okay.
Did we get the last question?
Let's see.
The two at 3:53. They just came in. Angela
there we
speaking.
go. Okay, they're tied to Clarissa's Q2 talking about the RFEP dates. And then Rebecca asked, "Hi Evan, isn't the rule you're referring to for exit date and not ELAS start date?" So, yeah, they're continuing to discuss it.
At
Q2
3:53 from Melissa.
Thank you. Okay, there it is. Any updates on problem number 6758? Cella ODS extract includes entire ELAS history for each student.
Yeah, I can give a little bit of a background on that one. So most of you have noticed that the extracts have been kind of a hot mess the past several weeks, and it's because they're transitioning from the overnight processing where you had to, make a change in the ODS, wait overnight, then you could download your extract. Trying to make those live, so as you post data throughout the day, that you can request new ODS extracts, but transition has not gone smoothly, and we kind of had enough and said, just go put the legacy back in until you figure this out. So a lot of those extract bugs they're still active because they're problems on the new architecture. As of Tuesday morning, we went back to the legacy software. So most of the extracts should be working. I know there's a problem with the SCNR. There's a relatively new column that was added, and that's missing on the legacy. So that's going to get added hopefully as a patch this week. But I think you should have better luck with your extracts now as of Tuesday morning. But again, that's back to the overnight processing. So no more of that live business.
All right, thank you for that. And it looks like Clarissa actually put in a Q3 as well, right below Melissa. So you've been a match set all day. Q3, the foster youth data that is pre-populated my district's SARC for 22-23 is different from what I have from CalPADS report 5.7 that I ran weekly for the entire 22-23. Do you know why that might be so?
I don't even know where to go in terms of documentation for SARC.
The CD website. Sorry. Yeah, you just type in SARC. Yep, comes right up. There you go. And I missed the question. I was trying to read it, but then I started talking, and then the transcript starts reading what I'm saying. I'm like, wait, that's not it.
It's oh, damn it. Now my screen pumped. Hold on. All right. Crap. Where did it go? There it is. Q3. The foster youth data that is pre-populated my district's SARC for 22-23 is different from what I have from CalPADS report 5.7 that I ran weekly for the entire 22-23. Do you know why that might be?
Martha typed into our chat, our team chat, that asking when was the 5.7 requested? It is a timing issue.
Agreed. Thank you, Martha. But then I thought I saw something down further, Alex. I still don't even see the question in the chat.
Do you want me to scroll down on here?
Right there. No, right there. Yep, right there. No. No. Go ahead and put in a ticket because I don't see it readily. To submit why it's different. And I'd also like to see what you're seeing. So our ticket will allow us to look at the information as well too versus your overall.
All right, so put in a ticket. We'll get it off to Sean. Sean will begin her investigation. All right. Down. 354, Eric, Q2. Can you go over how to get an SSID for LPAC testing during the summer, entry date, etc.?
Pretty sure it was in a flash. Wait.
Put in a summer enrollment after you've closed out your beginning of your enrollments. I want to say maybe 258 or 219, but I think both of those refer to RFIP, so I'm not sure. No, it's in the rollover flash. 250.
So you could essentially create a future enrollment date and the TBD that's equal to the current date when the test is.
But you have to have closed out the enrollment first for end of year. But they wouldn't have had one. Close out your enrollments for EOI first, and then once you've done that, then you can start to populate your enrollments for the following school year. But we have date parameters on that, and Martha knows those off the top of her head.
All right. Let's see.
Do we try 249 end of year? It's right in that area because we put it out each year. Put in a ticket. We'll respond back to you. My ticket queue is just building. I know. I was down to 0 too. I replied back to everything. Yes.
Let's see. Alex, not Tandy Young, 358 says, I'm changing my name to Alexissa in honor of Nelissa and Clarissa. Oh, Nelissa, I promise not to call you Melissa. All right. I do my best to pronounce names. I try to do that best I can. Nathan at 358 posted some SARC references or resources there. All right. It looks like there was some discussion below Kyron's LCFF foster youth definition. But I think that we have hit the end of the questions. And we are now at 4:02. So I would like to send you back to your lives. Thank you for being here this week. If you're still working on fall 1, please make that a priority. Fall 2 immediately to follow. And we need to get everything done as quickly as we can. And I know that it's always our mantra here. And I hate doing that to you, but yeah, we need to get it done. If you need anything between now and our next Q&A, please open a CalPAD service desk ticket so we can get you your help as quickly as possible. And we will talk to you soon. Have a great week.